Hey everyone! Last week we stayed on the western shore of Lake Erie at Sterling State Park in Monroe, Michigan. We visited a few amazing museums during the week, including the National Museum of the Great Lakes, the Detroit Institute of Arts, and the Henry Ford Museum of Innovation. After visiting a War of 1812 battlefield and enjoying some Detroit-style pizza, we are now on our way to our next destination, where we will be exploring Cuyahoga Valley National Park. After crossing the border from Michigan into Ohio, we had a beautiful drive to our next campground at Punderson State Park. We chose this state park as our home base because it was 33 miles from Cuyahoga Valley National Park, but Punderson turned out to be a destination on its own. More on that later. For now, let's visit Ohio's only national park. Ohio's Cuyahoga Valley National Park is nearly 33,000 acres and follows parts of the Cuyahoga River between the cities of Akron and Cleveland. The national park focuses on cleanup and restoration efforts that turned a polluted river and its surrounding area into flourishing ecosystems, as well as the history of the Ohio and Erie Canal and the industry and towns that popped up along it. The Ohio and Erie Canal was dug by hand from 1825 to 1832, connecting the Ohio River with Lake Erie and providing shipping opportunities for goods along the way. Workers dug the canal 4 feet deep and 40 feet wide. 44 locks were built along the canal, helping boats move up and down through elevation changes. Towns boomed and businesses flourished along the canal route. Railroads in the 1800s contributed to the decline of the canal, and in 1913 it was damaged by a flood and was too costly to repair. The canal has dried up now, but there are still remnants to be seen today, including some of the locks and the towpath that mules and horses walked along while pulling canal boats along the way. Cuyahoga Valley National Park was established in 1974. The Cuyahoga River was once so polluted that it caught fire several times due to oil and debris. The river burned more than 10 times over the course of a century. The most famous fire was in 1969 in Cleveland, which caused an outrage and helped start the Clean Water Act, the formation of the Environmental Protection Agency, and the first Earth Day. There are over 125 miles of hiking trails in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Popular trails include the Ledges Trail, the Brandywine Gorge Loop Trail, and the Towpath Trail. The Towpath Trail is 100 miles long, with about 20 miles inside of the national park, and follows the path that mules use to pull boats along the canal. The towpath passes several points of interest in the national park and is popular for walking and biking. We visited this park on a Saturday and tried to do as much as we could in a day. Our visit happened to be during the government shutdown, so unfortunately we could not enter any visitor centers. However, the rest of the park remained open. We started our morning with a drive to Brandywine Falls, a popular stop in the park. There is a decent-sized parking lot here, but it does fill up during peak times and seasons. From the parking lot, you can walk along a boardwalk that takes you to a couple of different overlooks of the 60-foot Brandywine Falls. The upper overlook is accessible at the end of the boardwalk and has a great view of the top of the falls. The lower overlook requires walking down 80 steps, but it is worth it for the closer view.
Come early and you might get a few seconds alone with the waterfall.
What'd you think of Brandywine Falls?
I really enjoyed it. It was early, so there wasn't as many people. So definitely get there early because I can only imagine what it's like packed.
Right.
But definitely a must do if you're in this area.
Yep. All right, let's go check out the Ledges Trail.
Yes.
After checking out the falls, we drove 6.5 miles to another spot in the park, the Ledges Trailhead. There is a large parking area at the trailhead with a couple other nearby lots you could park in if the main lot is full. This is another spot that gets busy fast during peak times, so plan accordingly. Ledges is known for the interesting moss-covered rock formations that dot the area. Ledges was home to a farm that was eventually purchased by a wealthy man who made the land his private retreat. Upon his death, he willed the land to the public and it became Virginia Kendall State Park. Ledges is now a part of Cuyahoga Valley National Park and is a popular 1.8-mile loop for hikers who want to get up close to these neat rock formations. The Ledges Overlook is a popular spot on the trail that can be accessed from the parking lot. Ledges was a lot of fun, and after hiking the loop, we were hungry. We decided to head to the small town of Peninsula for lunch. It was very busy in this tiny town during lunchtime on a Saturday, especially with an Ohio State game on TV. There were 2 towpath trail parking lots we were planning on parking in, but we weren't able to cross the tracks due to a train blocking the way. We did find a spot at the lumber mill in town that allows non-customer parking on Saturday afternoons. Peninsula was established in 1824. Another valley boomtown, it was known for manufacturing canal boats and was home to mills, quarries, and warehouses. The Peninsula Depot is an original train depot and the only historic depot remaining in the valley. It is painted red to show that it is historic, while yellow-painted depots in the Cuyahoga Valley were built by the National Park Service. The Peninsula Depot was moved from its original location in Boston Mills in 1968, after the original Peninsula Depot was destroyed by fire. It now serves as a ticketing office and boarding location for the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad. This train allows passengers a unique experience as they can see the Cuyahoga Valley as they travel along a railway that's traversed the valley for more than 100 years. There are multiple stations along the route, and during certain seasons you can hike or bike the towpath or paddle the river one way, then catch a train ride back to where you started. We ate lunch at the Winking Lizard. We couldn't pass on loaded pierogies for an appetizer. Pierogies are dumplings made with dough and filled with a variety of ingredients, with common fillings being potatoes and cheese, meat, or fruit. They are a common dish from Central and Eastern Europe, and thanks to the many Polish immigrants who came to work in the Cleveland area, pierogies are a popular menu item. These loaded pierogies were so good. We also ordered honey garlic wings and the Bowman's chicken parmesan sandwich, served on garlic bread. The food and vibe here was great. After lunch, we drove just 2 miles to the small village of Boston. Many communities developed along the Ohio and Erie Canal in the early 19th century. The village of Boston, Ohio, was one of the communities that grew along the canal and boomed as a canal boat manufacturing town. Boston boomed again later as a rail town. The Cleveland-Akron Bag Company once called Boston home, and the factory produced flour sacks and roofing paper from 1898 until 1923. The factory employed around 200 people, mostly Polish immigrants. The Boston Mill Visitor Center is housed inside the former company store for the Cleveland-Akron Bag Company. Unfortunately, thanks to the government shutdown, the visitor center was closed during our time here. The 70-acre Beaver Marsh is a popular attraction along the towpath trail and can be accessed from the Ira Trailhead. This area was once wetlands before land development drained the marsh. The area was a farm before later turning into a junkyard. The auto repair shop and salvage yard was cleaned up by Sierra Club members in 1984. After cleanup, beavers, who were once almost hunted and trapped to extinction, came back to the area and dammed up the Ohio and Erie Canal. The beaver dams caused the area to flood, awakening dormant wetland seeds below the surface. Thanks to human cleanup efforts and return to beaver activity, this area was restored into a marsh. Please comment below to let us know what your favorite hike in Cuyahoga Valley National Park is. We couldn't pass on an opportunity to stop at the Station Road Bridge. This bridge spans the Pinery Narrows, the skinniest part of the Cuyahoga Valley. The original wrought iron Station Road Bridge was completed in 1881 and still stands today. From the bridge, you can catch a wonderful view of the reinforced concrete bridge that was completed in 1931 and carries Route 82 across the river. Finally, we ended our day with a short visit to the Canal Exploration Center. The visitor center was closed due to the government shutdown, so we just walked around the area. There is a neat mule statue on the towpath trail with some information. There's also an intact lock next to the visitor center. The Canal Exploration Center was a pre-canal tavern, which later became a store, serving travelers waiting at the nearby Lock 38. Eventually, the building became a residence until it was purchased by the National Park Service and opened as a visitor center. Cuyahoga Valley National Park was a neat stop on our trip. It was so interesting to learn of the extensive cleanup efforts that made this park possible. From cleaning up a polluted river to preserving the small villages that give this area character, volunteers and the National Park Service have done a great job protecting and conserving a beautiful part of the Midwest. Our home base this week was Punderson State Park, about 35 miles from Cleveland, Ohio. This large state park encompasses Punderson Lake and has a few camping loops as well as an exceptional disc golf course. We were so excited to enjoy what this beautiful state park had to offer, in addition to being just 30 miles away from Cuyahoga Valley National Park. There are several loops at Punderson State Park's campground, including 20 full hookup sites, 15 non-electric, and 137 electric-only sites. There are also 3 group camps, as well as 26 cabins on the other side of the lake. There is so much to do at Punderson State Park. It really is one of the best state parks we've been to so far. And the best part is that Ohio state parks do not have an entry fee. The park has kayaks and canoes for rent, a small nature center with weekly programs, and an archery range. There are also 7 hiking trails in the park and 1 multi-use trail. There are basketball and pickleball courts, a golf course, and an outstanding disc golf course. You can rent discs at the campground office for $5 a set and either enjoy the beautiful full-size course, or if you're just a beginner, there is a small beginner's course near the beach.
Take it.
Punderson Lake is a kettle lake, formed when a large chunk of ice broke off the last glacier that traversed Ohio, creating a depression in the ground that filled with meltwater. At 150 acres, it is the largest and deepest of its kind in the state, and one of the few natural lakes in Ohio. Punderson State Park is also known for the Punderson Manor Lodge and Conference Center. This English Tudor manor-style lodge took 20 years to build, completed in 1948 with 31 guest rooms. The lodge also serves some amazing food. We couldn't pass up on having dinner here one night. Keisha enjoyed the cheeseburger, while this blackened shrimp ravioli is absolutely to die for. Behind the lodge is a boardwalk that follows the southwestern shore of the lake and also connects to the cabin area. This is a beautiful and well-maintained park set in a great location in Northeast Ohio. We highly recommend a stay at this beautiful state park. We enjoyed our stay in this unique part of Ohio. From playing disc golf and enjoying the view at Punderson State Park, to visiting a national park that's a testament to environmental protection and conservation, there's a lot of beauty to take in and fun to be had in this area. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope you will join us next week as we check out another Ohio state park and visit both an ancient mound and a haunted penitentiary in West Virginia's northern panhandle. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss any of our adventures. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.